Welcome back to the Queens of the North podcast. I'm Gabby DePaula along with Drew Jones. Week 14, episode 13 for us, though, because we didn't do one during the bye. And me and do one during the bye because we needed a break.
Just like everybody else.
Just like everybody else. Absolutely. Ravens Steelers week, big week for both teams. Mike Tomlin said earlier on Monday that, he still thinks they are in the hunt for the playoffs. Looking at the Steelers, I don't think they are. Drew Jones has some high hopes. Naturally, I do not. So Ravens have been hit with the injury bug yet again. Ronnie Stanley, their left tackle, did not play. He was inactive, questionable all week, ended up being inactive on Sunday. And then Lamar Jackson got hurt with a knee injury at the end of the first quarter. That was kind of a tough one. Tyler Huntley ended up having one drive that was the winning drive for them in the last, I think, minute of the game. It was to give them the win, a 10-9 win against the Broncos, who are just Broncos are an awful team. So
yeah,
I had that score being way larger, and that the difference between both teams being way larger as well. I think like the line was -6 or 7.5, and I think I had them at least 10, like a 10-point difference. But that's football, I guess, and the Ravens really haven't been great on the offense. Or defense held up, obviously, but what are your takes from watching the Steelers and then coming in to host the Ravens?
Yeah, so I didn't get to watch the game live because I was at SoFi Stadium ahead of the Rams Seahawks game, which was fun to watch.
Quick side note, because Drew Jones lives on the West Coast, she was able to interview one of the top DBs in the league right now, Jalen Ramsey, and we'll get to that later on. But because that is why she wasn't able to, she had to do a side project for her work to interview Jalen Ramsey, which we'll get to later after that. But keep going.
Yes. It's so funny. Like when I was at the game, some of the people were like, you need to stop being so humble. You need to say like who you work for and that you reported, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I guess.
Chill.
So, yeah. I need to spill some more of my own tea, I suppose. But
yeah.
But I watched the highlights and I guess I was disappointed with how close the score was. Like I thought we would beat them a little bit more handedly because the Colts haven't been having such a great year. But it's pretty crazy to be at 5-7 with like, I wouldn't say like an easy rest of the schedule, but like looking at, so we play Ravens on Sunday that are going to be without Lamar Jackson and been having some offensive issues. Anyway, then the Panthers, I would call that a W, hopefully knock on wood. Then the Raiders, that might be the toughest test of the last 5 games, and then play the Ravens again, which Lamar Jackson could be back by that time. Who knows? And then last game of the season is against the Browns. So, I mean, interesting. We could win out. We could go 4-1. Either way, Mike Tomlin still has a shot to maintain his over 500 streak. Whether or not we make the playoffs remains to be seen, but very interesting year the Steelers are having.
Very interesting year, but fun to watch, definitely. Obviously, I'm not a fan of them, but fun to see where the AFC North will look like, next year. With Joe Burrow, obviously still in the league. Browns have Deshaun Watson, who looked like absolute crap in Houston, was getting booed the entire game. And then you have Kenny Pickett as well. He's a rookie in the league, but he's definitely he's gotten better every single game. Your game, like the Ravens game, both a lot of field goals happened. It was a big field goal game for both teams, or both games, I should say. Ravens only had one field goal, but big field goal game for the Broncos and the Steelers as well. So, might come down to, I just saw in my notes that the Ravens and Steelers, most of their games, so I think it was like 16 of them since they've like played each other, have come down to just 3 points. Could be a field goal game for both teams yet again. Kind of surprised it's a 1:00 game and it didn't get flexed.
Yeah, to the afternoon.
The fact that, I mean, maybe we think this game's a little more important than the league does, but the Ravens, they're not, I mean, they're not in the clear quite yet. And the Steelers they're starting to find their rhythm. They did against the Colts, and Colts are the Colts, but a win's a win for them as well.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, same thing with Ravens beating the Broncos. Like, while it wasn't the best game, it's still a W in the win column. And I was thinking about this in NFL comparatively to college football. Like, there's so many college football teams that's why they have to have a committee to rank them, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
But like in football, it's just straight up wins and losses is
Yep.
who's going to the playoffs,
Yep.
you know?
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
win's a win.
A win is a win. So actually, Tyler Huntley most likely going to be the starter. I don't think they officially announced it, but most likely he plays exactly like Lamar on the field. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
He's a
pretty.
runner.
They're very similar quarterbacks, and it makes it kind of fun to see how Tyler plays his game compared to Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys have seen Tyler Huntley. You saw him last year, week 18. They lost, or the Ravens lost 13-16. Yeah, Tyler Huntley played that game. Lamar was hurt the last couple games of the year. He didn't do awful, I guess. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's whatever it was because they knew they weren't going to go to the playoffs. So I just think they,
Mm-hmm.
they they were happy to get everyone out there healthy. He did have 2 interceptions that game. 141 passing yards. I think he had 72 rushing yards. So, maybe we see more Tyler Huntley in the run game.
Yeah.
Maybe they add to it. Kind of like you guys, Ravens fans have been after the offensive coordinator's head.
Yeah.
You guys have kind of started finding your run game a little bit. Do you think, we're going to see more of it this upcoming week?
I would say so. The last like 2.5 games, Najee has been playing really, really well.
Mhm.
And then you couple that you know, with Jalen, who just, I feel like it's just a great 1-2 punch. Cause I don't know, Najee doesn't play every down, which I don't think any running back could, but they do take him out pretty frequently.
He's
And
a
the
running
game,
back, but I feel like he's more in the passing game too.
yeah, I think he's also like he's a dual threat type of running back, not to the level of Debo Samuel, because I feel like Debo Samuel is more
Yeah.
of like a wide receiver these days than a running back. But yeah, I mean they can use him there a lot. And I don't know, I feel like also the offensive line's like been improving every week. We still have some mistakes, some false start penalties and stuff like that, which will
Mhm.
probably get cleaned up in the offseason, like we've talked about. But do you see that stiff arm, that nasty stiff arm last week?
Not.
Okay, hold on. I gotta send this to you right now. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, send
Your
it to me.
reaction is
But
gonna be great.
in the meantime, Ravens and Steelers are playing at Pittsburgh. I mean,
Hmm.
they have a couple guys out, and I think they're hoping to get some of their guys back. Because Edwards obviously was
Hmm.
back for the past 2 games. Hopefully, getting J.K. Dobbins back. Maybe Marcus Williams, one of their safeties, to come back. He was injured early in the season as well. And maybe Ronnie Stanley will play and be active.
Ronald,
I wouldn't call it a healthy scratch, but he was inactive. Um,
I
because they
just
went
sent to you
through
on the gram.
2 left tackles. I don't have my phone on me right now.
How dare you? Maybe I'll just like pull it up then. So
Who would be the
Najee Harris had like the nastiest stiff arm. I mean, this man has a family. You can see it. Oops.
Oh, okay. I did see that. Okay.
Oh, that man's got a family. So good.
Family ain't cheering for him now.
I know, right? Poor guy.
But yeah, so I think it's going to be a low scoring game.
Mhm.
I think it's going to come down to field goals. You guys obviously, I think it might be a field goal game for you guys as well. Well, I will say Kenny Pickett's not great in the red zone.
You know, I've just been seeing kind of, and it's tough. I feel like there's so many factors right now, and it's
Mhm.
one, Kenny's young and he's learning. He's continually improving. Great. Obviously, mistakes he needs to clean up too. Two, like I just think that we have probably the worst red zone play calling in the league. Like it doesn't make sense to me if you
Yeah.
are, first and goal on the 4, let's just say for instance, and you're not going to run the ball, like you have Najee Harris, you know what I mean? Like even
Yeah.
if he gets 2 yards or closer to the goal line, even if he gets down to the 1, I mean, there's
Yeah.
just So from a play calling standpoint, like I don't think that we should be passing it on 1st and goal within the 5, me
Yeah.
personally. But so
Yeah,
there's that aspect of it
to me,
too.
that says they don't trust their offensive line.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. They haven't come up with anything creative to try and fix that. Whether it's, throwing it out to the flats. I know you said you want to stick to the run game, but something like that, or an end around maybe. I mean, those could be definitely complicated, and you could definitely lose yards in both those plays. But yeah, I think that just comes down to the offensive line, maybe.
Yeah, they
It's
have been
unquestionable,
bringing Derek
but
Watt in more, which is kind of nice to see. Get an extra blocker in there for
yeah,
whomever
and we've
runs the
been saying
ball.
that all year. Like, why don't you have some extra protection for Kenny Pickett? And
Mm-hmm.
because your line is not ideal right now.
Yeah,
Right.
we need a center, a
Yeah,
couple
maybe
guards.
a draft pick for y'all.
Yes. Well, now like that we're actually like having a decent year. I'm like, well, the high draft pick that I was raving about a couple weeks ago probably ain't gonna happen now. We're gonna be right in the middle of the pack again.
Maybe. But yeah, I mean, watching the and that's why that's what I was kind of saying all week. The Steelers are starting to come into their own. This isn't an easy win for the Ravens by any means. I think the Ravens are, favored.
Mhm.
Not by much though. And you're going into Steelers territory. We've said this
Right.
from the beginning. The AFC North, it's all up in the air.
Yeah.
Either team could win. And to be honest with you, the way the injuries have been kind of falling down on the Ravens, I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers edged it out by a field goal.
And we said this earlier in the season that we thought the Bengals were the team to beat, and then they lost to the Browns that week. But now
Right.
they just beat the Chiefs. So I don't know. I kind of put them back on the top, but they might be the team to beat here.
I think they might be the team to beat. They are definitely making conversation around the NFL that they're back. I wouldn't be surprised, if the Ravens lost to the Bengals, because the Ravens have to head to the Bengals for that game. We have the Falcons, which should be an easy win, but we thought the Panthers were gonna be easy win. That was 13-3. We lost the Jaguars 27-28. I mean, of course, Justin Tucker attempted a very long field goal, and
Bless
missed
his
it.
heart.
And you know what? And the Ravens won because the Broncos field goal or kicker missed a 63-yard field goal. So they got lucky. I mean, again, I mean, not many players can make a 60+ yarder. Justin Tucker made that 66-yarder last year in Detroit, but I mean, 63 was really cold out, not much wind, but I mean, the Ravens, they were pretty close to losing that too with the field goal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think this game's going to come down to field goals. I have no doubt about that.
When's Lamar coming back, or how long do you know? Do you know how long he's supposed to be out for?
They said 1 to 3 weeks. I'm going to say, so it was a PCL sprain, nothing broken. He definitely had some limping on the sidelines. Of course, it's a fresh injury, so do that with what you will. But yeah, I love watching Tyler Huntley. He's definitely a dynamic quarterback, and I think he has a really good. I think his arm is pretty accurate. And we saw that in the last drive, on the winning drive. It was 91
He's like a little mini Lamar.
It was a 91-yard drive. He connected with Mark Andrews, a couple other players, Devin Duvernay, to finally get it down the field. Gus Edwards, unfortunately, only had 12 yards. He was on my draft lineup this week and didn't do anything. I thought he would at least have a touchdown, didn't have a touchdown. So 91 yards, got him down the field and got the winning play. So he ran it himself. It was a 2-yard gain for him.
Right.
So
do it yourself, man.
do it yourself. And I don't mind that at all. And that's what I think they should have done sometimes with Lamar too. But Lamar's
looking at the Ravens schedule. So obviously playing Steelers this week, and then next week play the Browns. And then the week after that playing the Falcons. So I feel like with Lamar's injury, I don't know if the team feels like they can beat the Browns without him, then he'll sit next week. And then, I mean, why would you play him against the Falcons when the Falcons have been playing terrible? So
Because the Ravens have been playing terrible and lost to the Jaguars, who are in last place, and Panthers, who are 13. You know, they
tough
almost
feel.
lost to the Panthers and the Broncos. They almost lost to the 3 worst teams in the league.
You guys are getting like the Steelers used to be, just playing down to the competition.
Kind of. I mean, I haven't really been happy. It hasn't been fun to watch either. Definitely, I've gained some wrinkles from watching the games the Ravens have been playing. So
hopefully this weekend will be a good game. I think that this Sunday, I don't know if you're planning on tailgating, but we should have a little fun pregame.
Not this week.
Not this week.
No, I'm done tailgating for a little while.
There you go.
No.
Is it bad luck?
I wouldn't say bad. You know what? Maybe.
Maybe it's the tailgate.
It might be bad luck. It might be bad luck. Also, I just, tailgating in the cold, getting up at like 6:30. I'm good.
That is a tough life as a fan.
I might be showing my age a little bit, but I don't care. I ain't doing it for a little while.
Hey, I mean, it's hard. Like I remember the college days, you could, drink all day.
12:00 games. Yeah. Drink all day.
Yeah. Oh, it's tough.
Take a nap after the game, go out later at that night. Like it's just, I had to work the next morning. So I had to be early next morning, like 4 a.m. the next morning, which was a blast, and put on my happy face. I was like, cool.
There you go. Well, what beer or beverage do Ravens fans drink before?
Have you heard of Orange Crush?
Like the soda?
No. God, you're a West Coast girl. No, I love that you said that though. No, it's orange vodka, triple sec. Have you heard of triple sec?
Yeah.
I don't know what y'all drink over there. Orange juice and Sprite or soda. People do like a skinny one. They do it with soda. I'm like, give me the Sprite.
Like club soda instead of Sprite.
Okay. Sprite. Yeah, whatever. And they sometimes take out triple sec with the skinny orange crushes too. But it's really good. It's a staple in Maryland. Everyone drinks orange crushes throughout the entire year. That's what I drank. I love beer too, but I'm trying to lay off of that.
Lay off the beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's cool hearing like because every team has different, obviously, tailgating types of traditions, and like obviously with the Bills, there's many tables being broken and stuff like that. But like I would say like the biggest beer in Pittsburgh, as far as the games that I've been to, is Yingling, and it's a little tough on my stomach though. Like I am definitely a West Coast gal for sure, so Yingling's a little tough on my stomach. Although,
so what's like your go-to drink?
My go-to drink, it depends on the day. I do like drinking beer a lot, so. But I could drink like any kind. Like I could do a Pilsner. I could do like a Stella. I could do. I mean, if I'm feeling like I want to channel any sort of Italian energy, I might drink a Peroni.
All right. Yeah, my people. Yeah,
there you go.
My people.
But when I drink cocktails, I do a tequila soda. You gotta have the lime in it though.
Ooh. Have you had tequila soda and grapefruit?
Oh, like a Paloma.
Paloma. Yeah. It's not bad.
Are good. Yeah, those are good. I'm a big tequila fan. I don't know if that's a West Coast thing, but
I like margaritas, but
margaritas are good.
A lot of people in the city love tequila. They love their tequila. Not me. I'm like, no.
Unless you like your orange crushes before games.
Or beer.
Yeah, I feel like beer is more of like a football drink, like you can kind of drink it all. You could drink it all before the game. You could drink it all game. You'd be fine. Like you can't have 10 cocktails. I mean, you could, but might be tougher than 10 beers.
I would not survive. I would not survive.
Me either. So I had to get in some of the fan tailgatey type of stuff, like, are there going to be Ravens fans in Pittsburgh this week? What are they going to be drinking?
Steelers fans travel well. So I'm expecting when the Steelers come to visit the Ravens in a couple weeks, they'll be loud for Pittsburgh. Ravens, I don't know. And, because I think it's a 4-hour drive from Baltimore about, I expect a ton of people, or I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like, because I think fans are a little scared right now with the injuries that have hit them in this month. So, I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's always going to be edgy on both sides because we know the history of both teams. It's always a nail biter between those two.
Played in many
AFC North
AFC championships
division,
together.
yeah, division. Facing Kenny Pickett, a new quarterback. I'm sure like the Ravens' mindset is to let's kill this guy.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. Let's kill
Yep.
him.
Welcome to the
But
AFC North. Get a couple sacks.
except for, Kenny Pickett, when he gets up after being sacked, he's like Philip Rivers. Good job, man. Good
And
job.
let's try to hurt him. He's gonna push you.
I hope he shows a little edginess like this weekend. I would love to see that from Kenny Pickett. Like, do you know the history of his team? Come on.
Yes. Yeah. I think
Give me
him
a little edgy.
playing for Pitt.
Give me a couple cuss words. Like, let's hear it.
Oh
Come
yeah.
on.
Yeah, mic him up. This should be like the star mic'd up game.
This should be a
of the
mic'd up
week.
game.
This game should be Sunday Night Football, but whatever. Well,
Yeah.
it'll be the best game of the day. It'll be at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
Who
my time,
is Sunday
please.
Night Football?
I know there's some games that got flexed in
Yes.
week like 15 or 16.
Ravens were flexed
And
to Saturday.
next week also, yeah, we're starting the
Dolphins and Chargers. That could be an okay game. Chargers have been not that great this year, surprisingly. So
yeah, we've had a lot of mid going on. I feel like I'm looking at the standings right now, and I mean it's kind of a toss up aside from like the division specifically. So obviously the Ravens top the division 8-4, tied with the Bengals record wise, and then Cleveland and Pittsburgh tied at 5-7. But Cleveland has the tiebreaker at the moment, I believe. But if you look at like kind of the conference standings, like everybody's like 5-7, 6-6, 7-5. So like these last 5 games of the season are going to really dictate who's. I mean, it's crazy. Like the Steelers still have an opportunity at the playoffs. That's just like unfathomable to me because I was already ready to go on the next season like 4 weeks ago. So, but it's nice. It's exciting. I would love to see Kenny in the playoffs.
Have you turned a page a little bit? You didn't give up on your team, so
hey, I told you I would be sitting there watching those games no matter what. If we win, I'm happy. If we lose, I'm not unhappy.
Fair weather fan.
That is not I. I'm an A's fan. I learned.
Hey, Orioles fan over here.
Exactly.
Easy.
But back to football.
Bengals,
Browns face each other this weekend as well. It's a big AFC North weekend. Both the games at 10 o'clock. Again, doesn't make sense to me, but alas, above my pay grade. What do you think there? I know Deshaun Watson had his first game back last week.
Yeah, he looked like crap. He had he did not look good. No passing touchdown, just did not look good. But that was expected, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did see a quote that I wanted to share. So post-game press conference, obviously someone asked him about the boos and he said, yeah, that's expected. Like I'm on a different team. That's his answer. But you don't think the boos are from anything else? I mean, I guess that was a PR move for sure, but come on, man. It is not from you going to the Browns. I don't think.
Yeah. I think there was an ESPN report that came out that, I don't know whomever's supervising his things that he has to do, like community services out there. I don't know, but that they've been seeing progress in him. And I'm like, okay, so what does that
progress
mean?
Look like though?
What does that mean?
With the one massage therapist he's supposed to see. Good job. High
right.
five.
I'm like, does that mean that we don't foresee any more allegations of sexual assault? Like that's the type of it's just like there needs to be like a better tangible explanation for what progress means. But yeah, so I agree with you. He was certainly rusty. The only reason the Browns won that game is because their defense. And Peoples-Jones, who's on my fantasy team, had a punt return for a touchdown, so that was nice.
Browns defense looked good against the Tech, but it's against the Texans. Like, I think against bad teams, like the favored team, like the Browns in this case, they should show up. Same thing with the Ravens and Panthers. They should show up in a bigger way. Ravens versus Broncos. Ravens should have showed up in a bigger way. But Browns defense looked good. Hats off to them. their quarterback still sucks in my eyes, but whatever. Bengals, I'm sure we'll destroy them.
That's what we said last time, and then they lost.
Yeah, but the Bengals I think they've turned a corner though.
I love me some Joe Burrow. I'm sorry. I
He
love that kid.
Like 9 times. I can't.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is they gotta. I mean, he runs a lot too. Like last game, he ran a lot, but he didn't slide every time, so he was actually taking some tackles.
Okay.
I think he needs to be a little bit more. How do you say conservative? Like
Sure.
yeah, run the ball, but like I mean, if you're gonna maybe get sacked anywhere from 3 to 5 times in the Browns game, you might want to be conservative with how you're sliding versus diving. But yeah, with Mixon still in the concussion protocol, I think P. Ryan, who's been playing really well for them, will still be the number 1 guy there. But yeah, it'll be a good game. I agree with you. I think the Bengals should win.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely rooting for the Bengals. I think they've kind of turned a page, especially winning against the Chiefs this week, which it was a close game. It was like a back and forth game. Yeah, I mean, good games to be had on Sunday within the AFC North. I'm really excited for. It's 10 o'clock your time when they come on, 1 o'clock my time. So I can't just get up and watch the TV. I have to wait a couple hours, whatever. I think that's
you can move to the West Coast.
Yeah, living on the West Coast. I dated someone on the West Coast for a little while where I saw him a lot, and we would wake up on Sundays and watch NFL, which was great. That part was awesome. 10 a.m.
And then when Sunday night football's over, you still have like a couple hours before you go to bed, so it's nice.
Yeah. I couldn't watch Sunday night football because I had to get up early next morning. Missed that. So a lot of good games to be had. AFC North, I think, is a juggle right now. The Bengals could definitely take the lead again. The Ravens have been hit with the injury bug, losing their quarterback. 1 to 3 weeks doesn't sound bad, but divisional games, it's kind of bad. The Steelers are starting to find their own. They're including the run game. Hopefully, they're better in the red zone for you guys. Don't want them in the red zone for us. Hopefully Ravens defense kind of shows up. And Tyler Huntley, I'm encouraged by Tyler Huntley. We'll see how he does. I think he'll be exciting to watch.
Miss RG3, don't you?
I don't. He was weird. He was watching him during that COVID game when they pushed the game back like for 10 days because they had like 25 guys on the COVID list.
Oh yeah,
covering the team then, and I remember taking calls left and right, just COVID. From like radio, from people. I had to like go on a couple of shows just on the East Coast, and they were like, "What's going on with the Ravens?" Popping up everywhere. But that was a strange game for RG3.
I can't believe we lived through that time. Like, no fans in the stadium for a whole year, and crazy.
I think last year was still limited, right?
I'm sure in some places, I'm sure here in California, like I think they asked you to wear a mask, like because I went to a game at SoFi, you were still asked to wear masks and stuff. So very, very interesting.
I don't think M&T Bank had anything limited, at least from what I remember. Because I remember going to the Chiefs game for Sunday Night Football, and it was not limited.
Especially because it's outdoors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot SoFi's not outdoors. Yeah, but what is I said it's a field goal game, so I think it's gonna be like 16-19.
Yeah, it'll be close.
I might be pushing it.
I would love to see the Steelers score 20 to 30 points and just put some frickin' points on the board. So who knows? But I think considering the Ravens offensive struggles and the Steelers have a really good defense, I think we can win by 10 plus points. So I'm going to go with let's go with like a 30 to 17. This is an optimistic, lofty prediction, but I want some Steelers put some. It's also it's my birthday on Sunday, so the Steelers need to win handedly for me.
It is Drew's birthday. Well, I don't think they'll win. I think the Ravens might give you that present.
We'll see. We'll talk about it at halftime on Sunday.
Yeah, we will. We sure will. We will. But I think that's it for us for episode 13, week 14 of the Queens of the North podcast. I'm Gabby DePaula with the soon-to-be 29-year-old Drew Jones.
28.
28-year-old Drew Jones.
Late 20s.
Well, I feel you on that. And that's it for us. We'll see you next week.